Hey everybody, Carl Brown here again. Today we're going to start talking about the style of Jimi Hendrix, most importantly his chord work. His chords are my favorite part of his playing. What he does with that is very musical, and it's kind of a style that he had all his own, and then it's been taken and used by countless guitar players from Stevie Ray Vaughan to John Frusciante of the Chili Peppers. So I'm going to take this and try to break down some basic chord forms and tell you what he's doing when he's doing most of his, it's kind of a chord lead style. And then in the next lesson, part 2, we're actually going to break down the intro to Little Wing using the stuff that we talked about today. Okay? So have fun with it. Go to guitarlessons365.com, support the site any way you can, comment, subscribe, that'd be great. Okay, appreciate it. Bye-bye. Okay, so we're going to begin our study of Hendrix chord style, well, certain elements of it, by just talking about what a lot of his concept is. Some of his most famous chord work really has just a lot of embellishing going on, and it's based around simple chord forms. So we're going to start by trying to understand exactly what he's doing with all these, and then we're going to analyze the whole Little Wing intro, one of his most famous kind of chord lead intros, and put it together. What we're doing in this lesson, see it in action in the next one, in part 2, when we actually look at a piece of music by him. So I'm going to look at a few chord forms and just show you some things that you can do with them. Well, if you take a simple basic, like a D major chord. All right, there we go. Now, if you take that, you notice here, especially if you've looked at our triad studies that we have at guitarlessons365.com, we have a triad shape right there, which is, in this case, a D major, but just in a three-string set. And what he basically does, is one of his favorite chord voicings, is to basically take this simple D major shape, play the same shape, but instead of the D being in the bass, which is the root, he has the third of the chord in the root, which makes it a first inversion chord. Still a D major chord, but it now has an F sharp in the bass. All right, so now looking at that, what that does is it really frees up his fingers in front of it to play notes from the scale in the key. A lot of times he can play anything. Okay, so he can really sit there. So he can do stuff like this. All right, so all that basically is I'm holding the chord here, and then I'm doing what we talked about earlier, these embellishments. It's basically working mostly off these 3 strings, and you can play any notes that you can reach in the key that's over it that you can hold down. He uses a lot of things, what we call double stops, which is basically he's playing 2 strings at a time that are adjacent, side by side. So we have these 2 middle strings, right? We're holding that, and then he'll do a lot of this. Little quick hammer on when you pick it. And what you want to do to make that time out and make it sound right, because it doesn't really sound like this. It goes, it's kind of like time your picking hand and your third finger to go down almost at the same time. Your fingers start coming down right then. All right, so that's how he works up that chord form. Another chord form he likes to use is basically this basic chord. I'll do it down here in G. Now if we take that chord and play it like Hendrix would play it, he likes to take his thumb and play this bottom note. He has huge thumbs, or did, and we have on the rest of the chord is held, this first finger holds these two strings, second finger holds the 4th fret, and then the third finger at the 5th fret, 4th string. And that 5th string is kind of muted because the thumb comes so far over. Or the third finger can reach up and mute it too. We have this chord, and he can move that around. But what that does, the reason he doesn't play it like this, if he plays it like this, what does it do? It frees up his pinky. Usually on these top 3 strings, he does embellishments. He'll pick the 2 strings at a time again, and he'll like pick these 2 bars that we have at the 3rd, and then he'll hammer on with his pinky. Hammer on the 5th fret. Basically, the next note up in the key is what he's always doing, is embellishing with, and then pulling back down. So he goes, and he can do it here on the 2nd string between 3 and 4. And then off this note on the 3rd string. So he's got a lot of this. Okay, so that's basically, and you can move that all around and just do the same thing. All right, so he also likes to work a lot off of the straight minor bar chord. Now, what would he do on that? Well, if you notice, it kind of has a long thing where you can hold your first finger across most of the strings. He may sometimes actually play it with his thumb here, just like we did this major chord, but you have to move this note back a fret to make it minor, and you have G minor. There's a 1 note difference between it, so he can basically go, and sometimes he'll move it to major. You know, sometimes, but you can basically take a minor bass chord shape like this and play your basic, if you know your basic minor pentatonic shape right there over that. You can hammer on all those notes in there and just keep your first finger barred across this fret, and then just go to town on it. Just so I'm still doing that same, mostly just hitting 2 strings at a time, but just kind of messing around in the key. All right, so those are the basic shapes that we're going to work off of when we do Little Wing. There'll be a couple other things going on, but you can really see these shapes put in action. So I want you to practice this for now. Just kind of just go around and go, okay, here's my major shape. And then minor. Always hitting just kind of 2 strings at a time. And then of course you have your major shape as well, that's on the that we did first. And just move those around to different keys and have fun, and maybe play one and combine and find a cool key to go to the next one. All you gotta do is find a cool chord progression. And just mess with it. You know, you can just do it for days. All right? So we get to see Hendrix put this in action in the next lesson coming tomorrow. So this is just part 1. So get your fingers around these, comment, go to guitarlessons365.com, and please support the site in any way you can just to keep these videos coming. It takes a lot of time to do them, and I appreciate anything that you can do. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.